The negotiations between humans and the Nexari continued for weeks. Kate spent most of her time with Zella, learning about the alien culture and technology. She had taken a leave of absence from her nursing job, feeling that this diplomatic work was more important. One morning, Kate arrived at the facility to find Zella examining human medical records with great interest. "Your species survives so many diseases and injuries," Zella remarked. "Your bodies are fragile, yet you persist. This resilience fascinates us." Kate smiled. "We have good immune systems and we're stubborn." Zella looked at her with those strange violet eyes. "Your humor always surprises me, Kate Miller. In my culture, communication is direct. We do not use these verbal games." Kate sat beside the alien commander. "Humor helps us cope with difficult situations, and sometimes it's easier to say hard truths through jokes." The alien considered this. "Perhaps there is wisdom in your approach. The Nexari could benefit from such adaptability." Their conversation was interrupted when a government official entered the room. "Commander Zella, the president wishes to speak with you." Zella stood, her tall form towering over the humans. "We have reached a decision then." The official nodded. "The council has voted on your proposal." Kate followed them to the conference room, where screens showed officials from around the world. The president spoke formally, welcoming the Nexari and offering them a territory in the northern Canadian wilderness, plus mining rights in exchange for medical technology. Zella accepted the terms with a slight bow of her head. "As a gesture of goodwill, I will share something with you humans. Our scans have detected an asteroid on course to strike your planet in approximately 2 years. Your current technology would be insufficient to prevent this impact." The room erupted in shocked voices. The president called for silence. "Is this a threat?" Commander Zella shook her head. "It is merely information. We can assist you in diverting this threat. Consider it the beginning of our alliance." Later that night, Kate and Zella walked the grounds of the facility, looking up at the stars. "You knew about the asteroid all along," Kate said. "Why wait until now to tell us?" Zella stopped walking. "We needed to assess whether your species was worth saving. Some of my crew believed we should let nature take its course and claim your planet afterward." Kate felt a chill run through her. "And what did you decide?" Zella turned to face her. "I decided that any species that produced individuals like you, Kate Miller, deserves to continue." Kate didn't know how to respond to that. She changed the subject. "Will you show me your homeworld someday?" Zella looked up at the stars. "There is little left to see. Our sun began dying centuries ago. Most of our people live on generation ships now." Searching, something in the alien's voice made Kate reach out and touch her arm. "I'm sorry." The alien looked at Kate's hand with curiosity. Then slowly she placed her own hand over it. "Your compassion is another trait we find valuable." Over the next few months, the Nexari helped humans prepare for the asteroid mission. Kate was officially assigned as the human liaison to Zella. She moved to the new Nexari settlement in Canada, where the aliens began building their colony. The settlement grew quickly with the Nexari technology. Earth materials were transformed into gleaming structures that seemed to grow from the landscape itself. Kate had her own quarters in Zella's command building. Her nursing skills proved useful as she helped the Nexari medical team understand human physiology. One evening, Zella invited Kate to witness a Nexari ceremony. "Few outsiders have seen this," Zella explained as they entered a circular room lit with bioluminescent light. "It is the renewal ceremony where we attempt to purify our genetic code." Kate watched as several Nexari females lay in crystal chambers, while others operated complex equipment. Energy flowed between the chambers, filling the room with pulsing light. When the ceremony ended, the Nexari looked exhausted. "Does it work?" Kate asked gently. Zella sighed. "It extends our viability, but the deterioration continues. We have been performing this ritual for generations. Each time it becomes less effective." Kate thought about this problem, drawing on her medical knowledge. The Nexari were dying out because their genetic pool had become too limited. Without new input, their species was slowly failing. "Have you considered that humans might help, not just with territory?" But with your genetic problems, Kate suggested carefully. Zella looked at her sharply. This has been discussed, but many Nexari believe it would dilute our purity. Kate chose her next words carefully. Purity is one thing, survival is another. Humans have faced similar challenges throughout our history. Isolated populations often developed genetic problems until they mixed with other groups. Zella was quiet for a long moment. Your leaders would permit such mixing of our species. Kate shrugged. That would be complicated. But if it meant saving your people and furthering the alliance, I'm sure some humans would volunteer. Something changed in Zella's expression. Our scientists would need to study this possibility extensively. Later that week, Kate was surprised when a group of Nexari scientists requested blood and tissue samples from her. They explained they wanted to test compatibility with human genetic material. Kate agreed, though the process was uncomfortable. The results apparently caused quite a stir among the Nexari. Kate noticed more of them studying her with new interest. Zela seemed distant for several days, refusing to discuss the tests. Finally, Zela requested Kate join her for a private meeting in her quarters. The room was sparsely decorated but beautiful, with living plants that responded to movement and crystal formations that hummed softly. Kate, our scientists have made a discovery. Zela said, her voice unusually hesitant. Your genetic material specifically shows remarkable compatibility with our own. More than any human they have tested. Kate wasn't sure what to say as that good Zela paced the room. In our culture, reproduction is a matter of scientific necessity, not personal choice. The strongest genetic matches are paired for optimal offspring. But this discovery creates a complication. How Kate asked Zela stopped pacing and faced her. You and I show the highest compatibility, yet recorded between our species. Kate felt her cheeks grow warm. Oh. The implications are significant, Zela continued. If we could successfully combine our genetics, it could save my species, but it would change us forever. Some of my people resist this idea. They fear becoming something other than Nexari. Kate tried to process this information. So what happens now? That depends partially on you, Zela said. Would you consider participating in such an experiment? The first human-Nexari hybrid. Kate took a deep breath. This is a lot to take in. I need time to think. Zela nodded. Of course. But there is more. You should know I have been selected as our new queen. The former queen perished in space centuries ago. I have led in her stead. But now the council has confirmed my position officially. Kate looked at her in surprise. Your royalty. Why didn't you say anything? Zela made a dismissive gesture. Titles mean little when a species faces extinction. But as queen, my genetics are considered sacred. The council must approve any use of my genetic material, and they are divided on this matter. The night sky over Arizona lit up with strange lights as the alien ship landed in the desert. Kate Miller watched from behind a large rock, her camera ready to capture everything. The tall blue figures that stepped out of the craft moved with grace that no human could match. Kate held her breath, trying not to make a sound. These aliens called themselves the Nexari, a race of all-female warriors who had traveled across many galaxies in search of new worlds. Kate had been tracking their ship for days after picking up strange signals on her homemade radio equipment. She was not a professional scientist, just a curious woman who worked as a nurse at the local hospital. The aliens gathered in a circle around their ship, their skin glowing slightly. In the dark desert night, their bodies were human-like but taller, with long limbs and faces that seemed almost too perfect. The leader wore a silver circlet on her head and carried what looked like a weapon. Kate leaned forward to get a better view. Her foot dislodged a small stone that rolled down the slope. The sound was tiny, but the aliens heard it. All 6 of their heads turned at once, looking directly at her hiding spot. Run, Kate thought. But before she could move, the aliens raised their hands, and she felt herself lifted off the ground by an invisible force. She floated toward them, unable to resist. Their eyes studied her with cold interest. The tallest alien spoke words that Kate did not understand, but somehow she felt the meaning in her mind. A human female alone. Curious, not afraid. Interesting. Kate found herself able to speak. I mean no harm, I'm just interested in who you are. The leader stepped forward, examining Kate closely. You understand our thoughts. This is unexpected, the alien circled around her. Your species was described as primitive. I don't know about that, Kate said. We have our moments. The leader made a sound that might have been laughter. You have spirit, human. Do you represent your government? Kate shook her head. I'm just a regular person. A nurse. I help sick people get better. The aliens spoke among themselves in their strange language that sounded like music and bells. After several minutes, the leader turned back to Kate. I am Zila, commander of this scout ship. We have been observing your world for some time. Our species seeks new territories. Kate felt cold fear at these words. Are you planning to invade Earth, Zella? Tilted her head. That depends on what we find. Your planet has resources we need, but we prefer cooperation over conflict when possible. Kate was suddenly aware of how much might depend on this conversation. If these aliens were considering invasion, she might be the only person who could change their minds. Our world has many different countries and peoples, she explained carefully. We don't always agree, but most of us just want to live in peace. Zella studied her. You speak with honesty. This is good. Perhaps you can help us understand your kind better. Before Kate could answer, a bright light appeared in the sky, growing larger. It was a military helicopter. Its searchlight swept the desert floor, catching the aliens in its beam. The aliens raised their weapons, but Zella held up her hand. No, she commanded. We will not initiate conflict. Kate realized she needed to act quickly. Those are soldiers from my country. They might attack if they feel threatened. Please let me talk to them, Zella considered for a moment, then nodded. You may serve as translator, but be warned. Any deception will be detected. The helicopter landed and 3 soldiers jumped out, weapons ready. Kate stepped forward, waving her arms. Don't shoot, she called. I'm Kate Miller. I work at Phoenix General. The captain approached cautiously, his gun still raised. Mom, you need to step away from these beings. Kate stood her ground. Captain, these visitors are peaceful. They want to talk. I can translate. The captain looked skeptical. But how can you? I don't know. Kate admitted. They can communicate with thoughts somehow. And they're willing to meet with our leaders. After tense negotiations, the military escorted the aliens to a secure government facility. Kate insisted on going with them, feeling somehow responsible for ensuring peace. She had become the unexpected bridge between 2 worlds. At the facility, government officials questioned Zila for hours. Kate remained by her side, helping both sides understand each other. The Nexari explained they came from a planet circling a dying star. They had been searching for a new home for generations. Their species was dying out due to genetic problems from their long space journey. We need not take your world by force, Zella explained. We seek only a small territory and access to certain minerals. We can offer technology beyond your current capabilities in exchange. The human officials were suspicious but interested, especially when Zella demonstrated some of their medical technology that could cure several human diseases. Kate found herself drawn to these alien women, especially Zella. There was something fascinating about their culture, their strength, and their intelligence. During breaks in the negotiations, Zella would ask Kate questions about human life, particularly about how humans formed relationships and families. Your species has males and females, Zella noted with curiosity. Our records show this creates much complexity in your societies. Kate smiled. It definitely does. But it also brings joy and love. Zella seemed puzzled by these concepts. Love is not necessary for reproduction. Why do humans value it? Kate thought carefully about her answer. Love isn't just about having children. It's about connection. Feeling that you matter to someone else, that you're not alone in the universe. Zella was silent for a long time after that. She requested that Kate be assigned as her personal liaison during their stay on Earth. The government agreed, seeing how well Kate communicated with the aliens. Over the next few weeks, Kate learned more about the Nexari. Their society was based on strength and intelligence. Each female was genetically designed for specific roles. They had eliminated males from their species centuries ago, reproducing through advanced technology. But this had led to problems. Their genetic diversity was failing. Their species was slowly dying. Kate wondered if human genetic material might help them. She mentioned this possibility to Zella one evening. As they watched the sunset from the facility, Zella seemed surprised by the suggestion. It has been considered, but most Nexari would resist combining with an inferior species. Kate raised an eyebrow. Inferior, Zella made that musical sound that was her laugh. You challenge me, Kate Miller. This is why I find you fascinating. Most humans fear us. You do not. Kate spent days considering Zella's revelation. The idea of helping create a hybrid being that might save an entire species was overwhelming. She spoke with human scientists and government officials who were equally amazed by the possibility. I need to know more about what this would involve, Kate told Zella when they next met. The Nexari Queen nodded. It would not be what you humans call natural reproduction. Our technology would combine our genetic material in a laboratory. The resulting child would be grown in an artificial environment. Kate frowned. That sounds so clinical. Zella tilted her head. This is how all Nexari are created. We abandoned natural birth centuries ago, when we eliminated males from our species. Kate tried to imagine it. So this child would be part human, part Nexari. Would it look like me or you or something in between? Zella activated a holographic display showing a simulation of what the hybrid might look like. The image showed a being with blue-tinted skin, but a more human face structure. Taller than an average human, but shorter than a Nexari. With human eyes but the slight glow of Nexari skin, she would be the first of a new kind. Zella said. Kate asked. You know it would be? Female. Zella nodded. The Nexari, genes for female traits are dominant, but she would have much of your genetic structure. Your resilience, your adaptability. Kate studied the image, feeling a strange connection to this being that didn't even exist yet. Would she be raised as Nexari, or human? That is another question we must resolve, Zella admitted. Some believe she should be raised among humans to better understand your species. Others fear she would lose her Nexari identity. What do you think? Kate asked. Zella was quiet for a moment. I believe she should know both worlds. As queen, I could ensure she learns our ways, but she should also understand humans. Kate nodded. That seems right. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent message a group of Nexari had taken control of one of their ships and left Earth orbit. They were traditionalists who opposed any genetic mixing with humans. They seek to contact our fleet. Zella explained, her voice tense. If they succeed, more conservative factions might come to Earth. They do not. Support our alliance with humans. Kate felt a chill. Will there be fighting? Zella touched a crystal on her wrist, activating communications. I am mobilizing our security forces. We must stop them before they reach the communication relay. The next few days were tense as Zella coordinated efforts to intercept the rogue ship. Kate remained at the settlement, helping to calm fears among both humans and Nexari. Working at the site, human military forces were on alert, creating further tension. Finally, news came that the ship had been stopped. Zella herself had led the mission. Kate waited anxiously for her return. When the Queen finally appeared, she looked weary, but relieved. We captured them without casualties, Zella reported. They will face our justice. Kate hugged her without thinking. The alien stiffened in surprise, then slowly returned the embrace. It was the first time they had touched in this way. Thank you, Kate whispered. I was worried. Zella pulled back, looking at her with curiosity. This concern for my safety, it affects you physically. Your heart rate has increased. Kate laughed softly. That's what happens when humans care about someone. Zella seemed fascinated by this reaction. Caring causes physical symptoms. How inefficient, yet intriguing. In the aftermath of the crisis, the Nexari Council voted to proceed with the genetic experiment. Kate agreed to participate, feeling both terrified and honored. The process began with more extensive testing. The Nexari collected samples and created various combinations in their lab. Kate was allowed to observe their work. The Nexari technology was far beyond human science. Their understanding of genetics made Earth medicine look primitive. They could manipulate DNA with precision, editing out flaws and enhancing desirable traits. The human scientists observing the process were amazed. What would take us years they can do in hours. One geneticist commented Kate spent more time with Zella learning about Nexari culture and history. She learned that the Nexari had once been much like humans with males and females living together. Their technology had advanced to the point where reproduction no longer required males. Their society had shifted gradually, eliminating the male gender entirely. "You never questioned this," Kate asked as they shared a meal in Zella's quarters. Zella considered the question. "It happened long before my time. For centuries, our system worked perfectly. We designed each generation for specific roles and purposes. Our society achieved great harmony, but at a cost," Kate pointed out. Zella nodded slowly. "Perhaps yes, as queen. I must consider if our pursuit of perfection led us to this point of extinction." Kate reached across the table and took Zella's hand. The alien had become more comfortable. "With human touch over time, I think perfection is overrated. Flaws and differences are what make life interesting." Zella looked at their joined hands. "Your species has much to teach mine." 3 months into the experiment, the Nexari scientists announced success. They had created a viable embryo combining Kate's and Zella's genetic material. The embryo was developing in an artificial womb, a transparent chamber filled with glowing fluid. Kate visited it daily, watching with wonder as the tiny being grew. Zella often joined her, both of them silent as they observed what might be the future of the Nexari race. "This changes everything," Zella said softly. "Not just for my people, but for yours. If we succeed, other humans, and Nexari might follow our example. A truly blended species could emerge." Kate thought about the implications. "It won't be easy. Some humans will resist, just like some of your people did." Zella looked at her. "The path to survival rarely is easy." As the embryo developed, Earth prepared for the asteroid mission. The Nexari technology had been combined with human engineering, creating a spacecraft capable of intercepting and diverting the threat. The joint human-Nexari crew trained together, forming unexpected bonds. Kate remained at the settlement, not part of the asteroid mission, but vital to the genetic experiment. Her medical background proved useful as she helped monitor the developing hybrid. 6 months into the pregnancy equivalent, both Kate and Zella were summoned to the laboratory. With urgency, the scientists explained that the embryo was developing faster than expected. Its growth accelerated by the combination of Nexari and human genes. "We must remove her from the artificial environment soon," one scientist explained. "She is ready." Kate felt a surge of emotion. "Is she healthy?" The scientist nodded. "She is more than healthy. She is exceptional. Her brain development exceeds our predictions. Her physical structure shows strengths from both species." The day of the birth arrived. Kate and Zella stood side by side as the artificial womb was opened. The small being inside had pale blue skin, human-shaped eyes with violet irises and delicate features that seemed to blend both species perfectly. She was beautiful. The baby opened her eyes and looked directly at Kate and Zella. A sense of recognition seemed to pass between them. The child reached out her tiny hands, one toward each of them. Kate felt tears on her cheeks. Beside her, Zella made a sound Kate had never heard before, something between a gasp and a song. "What will you name her?" asked one of the scientists. Kate looked at Zella. This was something they had discussed at length, combining naming traditions from both cultures. "Hope," Zella said firmly. "In your language. And Neva in ours. She will be Hope, Neva." First of the new Nexari, the child was placed in Kate's arms. The feeling was overwhelming. This tiny being represented so much. The future of a species. A bridge between worlds. Kate looked up at Zella, who was watching, with fascination. "Would you like to hold her?" Kate asked. Zella hesitated. Nexari queens did not traditionally handle infants, but after a moment she nodded and carefully took the child. Her expression changed as she held the baby, becoming softer. More vulnerable. She has your eyes, Zila whispered. News of Hope Neva's birth spread quickly through both human and Nexari communities. The reactions were mixed. Many celebrated this miracle of science and cooperation. Others expressed concern about the implications of mixing species. Religious groups debated the moral questions while scientists clamored for access to study. The child Kate and Zela became protective, creating a secure environment where Hope could develop away from curious eyes. The child grew at an astonishing rate. By 6 months, she was walking and attempting speech. Her mind seemed to absorb everything around her. Both Kate and Zela took active roles in raising her Kate, bringing human warmth and intuition to parenting. While Zela provided structure and Nexari knowledge, they created a unique family unit, one that had never existed before. One evening as Hope slept, Kate found Zela staring at the night sky from the settlement observation deck. "You miss space," Kate said, joining her. Zela nodded. "I was born on a ship traveling between stars. This planet, though beautiful, feels confining at times." Kate leaned against the railing, looking up at the stars too. "I can't imagine growing up like that, always moving, never having a true home." Zela turned to her. "But we did have a home. It was our ship, our community. We carried our home with us among the stars." They stood in comfortable silence for a while. Then Zela spoke softly. "More ships will come, Kate. When they learn of our success here, other Nexari will want to settle on Earth." Kate had suspected this. "Would that be bad? We have plenty of room, especially with your technology to create settlements in harsh environments." Zela studied her. "The concern is not space, but acceptance. Will your people welcome thousands of my kind, and will my people accept living alongside humans permanently? Some will not." Before Kate could respond, alarms sounded throughout the settlement. A security officer rushed to them. "Your Majesty, we have detected an unidentified craft entering Earth atmosphere. It does not match Nexari or human design." Zela straightened immediately, her posture shifting from relaxed to regal in an instant. "Alert the human authorities. Activate our defenses." Kate felt fear grip her heart. Hope was sleeping, in her quarters nearby. Whatever this new threat was, it came at the worst possible time. The hybrid child was still vulnerable, still a secret to most of the universe. The settlement transformed into a hive of activity. Nexari security personnel moved with practiced precision while communications officers contacted human military forces. Kate rushed to Hope's room, finding the child awake. Her violet eyes wide with curiosity, not fear. The little girl reached for Kate, making a trilling sound that was distinctly Nexari mixed with human words. She seemed to sense the tension but showed no distress. The strange ship landed at the edge of the settlement perimeter. Zela ordered Kate and Hope moved to a secure bunker below the main building. Before, they were separated. Zela touched Kate's shoulder. "If these are enemies, we will protect you both." Kate caught her hand. "We will face this together." "Whoever they are," Zela shook her head. "This is what a queen must do. Protect her people. You and Hope are my highest priority." Reports came in through secure channels. The visitors were not Nexari, but another species entirely. They called themselves the Vox and claimed to be ancient allies of the Nexari. They had tracked the Nexari fleet for years, following them to Earth. Zela agreed to meet with them while Kate and Hope remained in the bunker. Hours passed with no news. The child played with educational tools, seemingly unbothered by their confinement, but Kate paced anxiously. Finally, Zela arrived, her expression unreadable. Kate searched her face for clues. "They know about Hope," Zela said. "The Vox have technologies that can sense genetic signatures. They detected her hybrid nature immediately." "Are they hostile?" Kate asked, pulling Hope closer. Zela shook her head. "No. They are curious. They claim they have been watching many species across the galaxy, studying evolution and development. The Vox say they once guided the Nexari, helping us advance beyond our original limitations." Kate frowned. "And now they want to study." Hope Zella nodded. They believe she represents the next step in evolution. A new path that neither of our species could achieve. Alone, Kate felt protective anger rise. They can't have her. She's not some experiment. Zella placed a hand on Kate's arm. They do not wish to take her only to observe. I have granted limited access. They will share knowledge in return, knowledge that might help other Nexari adapt as Hope has. The meeting with the Vox representatives was strange and unsettling. They appeared almost human, but with subtle differences that became more apparent the longer one looked at them. Their skin had a golden sheen, and their eyes changed color as they spoke. They moved with fluid grace that made even the Nexari seem clumsy. By comparison, the Vox leader, who called herself Talia, studied Hope with evident fascination. She is more than we expected, she said, her voice musical, like wind through crystals. The convergence of your species creates something greater than either. Hope showed no fear of the strangers. Instead, she approached them with curiosity, reaching out to touch Talia's hand. The Vox leader seemed startled by this, then pleased. She carries the best of both species. Talia observed, the human capacity for adaptation and emotional connection, the Nexari intelligence and physical resilience. But there is something more. Something new. What do you mean? Kate asked. Talia smiled, an expression that seemed practiced rather than natural. She has abilities that will emerge. As she grows, abilities neither humans nor Nexari possess. Zella stepped forward. What abilities? Talia turned her color-shifting eyes to the Nexari queen. That remains to be seen. But we have observed this pattern before. When species merge successfully, the offspring often develop traits beyond either parent species. It is why we have watched your kind for so long. We suspected the Nexari would eventually find compatible partners. The implications were enormous. Kate and Zella exchanged glances there, concern evident. The Vox delegation stayed for several weeks observing Hope and sharing information about other species they had encountered. Their presence created tension, but also brought new understanding. Their knowledge of genetics far surpassed even the Nexari. They offered treatments that could help slow the genetic deterioration in the existing Nexari population. During this time, the asteroid mission launched. The joint human-Nexari crew departed Earth to intercept the threat they carried. With them, the hopes of both species and knowledge gained from the Vox. Kate watched the launch with mixed emotions, proud of what humans and Nexari had accomplished together, yet worried about the future. Hope continued to develop rapidly. By her first birthday, she could speak both English and the Nexari language fluently. She showed remarkable abilities to learn and adapt. Her physical abilities were equally impressive, stronger than human children, faster, more coordinated. One afternoon while playing in the settlement garden, Hope suddenly stopped and looked up at the sky. "Mommy," she said, pointing upward. "They are coming back." Kate looked at her daughter in confusion. "Who is coming back?" "Sweetheart." Before Hope could answer, Zela approached her communication device, chiming. "The asteroid team. They have succeeded. The threat is diverted. They return to Earth orbit now." Kate stared at Hope. "How did you know?" The child simply smiled in that mysterious way children have when they know something adults don't. Her eyes flickered with color, briefly reminding Kate of the Vox. That evening, Kate discussed the incident with Zella. The Nexari queen listened with careful attention. "The Vox were right," she said. "Finally, Hope has developed abilities beyond our understanding. She appears to have some form of enhanced perception, perhaps even limited telepathic ability." Kate shook her head. "Does that worry you?" Zella considered this. "It means she will face challenges neither of us fully understand, but it also means she may be better equipped to lead both our peoples into the future." Kate raised an eyebrow. "Lead? Are you already planning her future?" As Queen Zela made her musical laughing sound. "She will choose her own path. But consider what she represents, Kate. The first of a new kind. Neither fully human nor Nexari, but something more. The Vox believe such hybrid species often become the next evolutionary step. Kate watched Hope playing across the room. She did seem special beyond her unusual origins. There was a wisdom in her eyes that sometimes made Kate forget she was speaking to a child. The Nexari DNA had accelerated her development, but the human influence gave her emotional depth and creativity. That pure Nexari lacked. Do you think there will be more like her? Kate asked, others willing to follow our example. Zella nodded. Already several humans and Nexari have approached our scientists, some out of curiosity, some from genuine connection. Hope will not be alone for long. 5 years passed since the birth of Hope Neva. The Nexari settlement in Canada had grown into a thriving community. Earth had changed too. Knowledge shared by the Nexari, and later the Vox, had advanced human technology by decades. Disease rates dropped. As Nexari medical techniques were adapted for humans, environmental damage began to reverse with new clean energy systems. Kate now served as the official ambassador between humans and Nexari. Her unique position as Hope's mother and close confidant of Queen Zella gave her unparalleled influence. She divided her time between the settlement and various human capitals, mediating disputes and fostering cooperation. Hope, at 5 years old, was extraordinary. She had the physical appearance of a human teenager. Her mind had developed even faster. She spoke 12 languages, studied advanced physics, and demonstrated remarkable empathic abilities. She could sense emotions and sometimes thoughts of those around her. This skill made her a natural diplomat, often resolving conflicts before they escalated. More hybrid children had been born, though none showed quite the same abilities as Hope. Most inherited the best traits of both species. Intelligence, strength, adaptability, and emotional depth. They formed their own community within the settlement. Neither fully human nor Nexari. But something new. Zella had changed, perhaps most of all. Once rigid and formal, the Nexari queen had developed a capacity for humor and spontaneity that surprised her own people. Her close relationship with Kate had softened her royal persona. Without abandoning Nexari traditions, she had become more flexible, more willing to consider new approaches. The two women had grown closer over the years, their connection deepening. Beyond their shared responsibility for Hope, the arrival of more Nexari ships brought both opportunities and challenges. A colony of 10,000 Nexari now lived on Earth, with more arriving each year. Most integrated, well adopting aspects of human culture while maintaining their own identity. Some remained isolated, preferring to avoid human contact. Earth's governments had formed a united council to manage relations with the alien visitors. The transition had not always been smooth. Religious extremists objected to the mixing of species. Conservative politicians warned of alien influence. Corporate interests competed for access to Nexari technology. Through it all, Kate, Zella, and Hope worked to build bridges, showing by example how cooperation benefited everyone. Hope in particular became a symbol of possibility. The young hybrid addressed the United Nations at age 4, her poise and wisdom captivating the world. On Hope's 5th birthday, the Nexari and human leaders gathered for a celebration. At the settlement, the child had requested a traditional human birthday party with cake and games, an idea that both amused and confused the Nexari. But they participated enthusiastically, their natural competitiveness, making simple party games into intense contests. Kate watched from the sidelines as Hope played with both human and hybrid children. Her daughter moved effortlessly between worlds, belonging fully to neither, yet accepted by both. Zella joined Kate, her regal bearing softened by a small smile. "She has your spirit," the queen observed. Kate nodded. "And your intelligence, though I sometimes think she's smarter than both of us combined." Zella made her musical laugh. "That seems increasingly likely." They watched in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Zella spoke more seriously. "The Vox Council has invited Hope to visit their homeworld when she reaches maturity. They believe she has a role to play in galactic affairs." Kate felt a pang of maternal concern. "She's still a child," Zella touched Kate's hand gently. "Not by Nexari standards, and certainly not mentally. She understands concepts that most adult humans never grasp." Kate sighed. "I know, but sometimes I wish she could just be normal. Whatever that means." Their conversation was interrupted when Hope approached, her violet eyes bright with excitement. Mom Zella, you must come see what the Vox delegation brought. She grabbed both their hands, pulling them toward the diplomatic building. The gift from the Vox turned out to be a holographic star map showing thousands of inhabited worlds throughout the galaxy. Most humans had not realized just how many intelligent species existed in the universe. The map showed trading routes, migration patterns, and alliance structures spanning millions of years of history. Hope studied it with intense focus. This changes everything, she said, her voice carrying the weight of understanding beyond her years. We are not alone. We have never been alone. Later that night, after the celebrations ended, Kate found Hope on the observation deck staring at the stars. The sight reminded her of finding Zella in the same spot years earlier. Can't sleep, Kate asked. Joining her daughter, Hope shook her head, too full of ideas. She gestured toward the night sky. They are all out there, Mom. So many different kinds of people. Different ways of thinking, of being, of seeing the universe. Kate followed her gaze. The stars seemed different now, knowing they held so many worlds, so many possibilities. You know what I realized? Today, Hope continued. My birthday isn't just my celebration. It's the anniversary of something bigger. The day humans and Nexari truly became one people. The day both species found a new path forward. Kate put an arm around her daughter's shoulders. Leave it to you to make your birthday philosophical. Hope laughed, a sound that combined Kate's humor and Zila's musical tones. I'm serious, though. Before me, everyone thought the Nexari would die out, that their genetic line had reached its end, and humans were still fighting each other, divided. Now look at us. Kate had to admit the change was remarkable. In 5 short years, Earth had transformed. Humans had united, at least politically, in response to the alien presence. The Nexari had found new genetic vigor, and new hybrid children represented a future neither species had imagined. Zella joined them on the deck, her timing perfect as always. The three of them stood together looking at the stars, their unusual family a testament to possibility. I received word from our fleet today, Zella said, breaking the comfortable silence. The last generation ship has changed course for Earth. All Nexari will soon be united. Here, Kate turned to her. That must feel good. After centuries of wandering, Zella nodded. It is. The end of one journey and the beginning of another. Hope looked between her two mothers. Do you ever regret it? She asked Zella. Bringing your people here. Changing them forever. The Nexari queen considered the question carefully. A leader must make difficult choices. Preservation of what was or evolution into what might be. I chose evolution. And looking at you, Hope, Neva, I cannot regret that choice. The child smiled, then pointed to a faint star barely visible in the distance. The Vox come from there. They told me their world circles that star. She turned to Kate. And humans evolved here on Earth, pointing downward, and Nexari began near that cluster, gesturing to another section of sky. But she placed a hand on her chest. I belong to all of them, and none of them I am. Something new. Kate felt tears prick her eyes, hearing the mix of wonder and loneliness in her daughter's voice. You belong with us, she said fiercely. With all of us. This is your home, Hope, hugged her mother. I know, but someday I will visit those other stars. I will see those other worlds. It's what I'm meant to do. Zella placed a hand on Hope's shoulder. When that day comes, you will not go alone. Many will follow where you lead. The child looked up, her expression suddenly older, wiser. I had a dream last night. I saw hundreds of ships carrying humans and Nexari and hybrids traveling among the stars. Not conquering, not running away, just exploring, learning, growing. I think that's our future. Kate and Zella exchanged glances, both recognizing the weight of prophecy in the child's words. Hope's dreams had a habit of coming true. The three of them remained on the deck until dawn, watching as the stars faded and a new day began. The settlement came alive around them, Nexari beginning their morning, rituals, humans preparing for work, hybrid children heading to their specialized school. This is just the beginning, Hope said as the first rays of sunlight touched her face. Everything changes from here. Kate looked at her daughter, then at Zella, the alien queen who had become so much more than an ally. 5 years ago, she had been just Kate Miller, a nurse from Arizona with a curious mind and a courageous heart. Now she was mother to a child who might change the course of multiple civilizations, partner to a queen who had risked everything to save her people. Change isn't always bad, Kate said. Squeezing Hope's hand, Zella made her musical laugh. Understatement, Kate Miller. A very human trait. Hope grinned her smile, combining Kate's warmth and Zella's. Regal bearing change is life, she declared. And we have so much life ahead of us, as the sun rose fully illuminating the gleaming Nexari structures alongside human buildings. Kate felt a sense of profound gratitude. One curious woman watching lights. In the desert, one alien queen desperate to save her people. And together they had changed the universe. In the nursery across the settlement, 20 new hybrid children slept dreaming of stars. The future had never looked brighter.